What's up, everyone? Surprise Wednesday night podcast. Happy Halloween Eve. I'm Doug Kyed. Pat's chat. Michael F. Hurley. How we doing, everyone?
It's an emergency pod.
An emergency podcast 2 days after Josh Uche got traded.
It's an emergency.
It's still an emergency.
I think all podcasts are emergencies. Like we're all, if you're podcasting, something's gone wrong in your life that you're trying to set course correct. So here we are.
All right. Well, we've got a decent amount to discuss here. Let's start off, I guess, with the news of the day. Patriots getting ready for their game against the Titans this weekend, and Drake Maye was limited in practice, which means after Gerard Mayo answered whatever, that Drake Maye would only practice for 30 minutes a day, that Drake Maye is in phase 3 of the NFL's concussion protocol, which really you don't study the protocol until it's the starting quarterback who's in it. I've discovered for myself personally, but
Okay.
I feel like by the end of the week, we're all going to be experts on the NFL's concussion protocol. But overall, positive. I think that he's at least in phase 3 at this point.
Right. He's not like holed up somewhere, like struggling to get out. He's exercising at least. So that is positive. I do find it interesting. Like you mentioned, you don't really follow it until it's a starting quarterback. Like I believe if I'm the NFL and I've got like the Tua thing going on, there's going to be a little bit more scrutiny and maybe a little bit more intense watching of it than if it were any other position. And not to downplay them as human beings, but just in terms of the what's the word I'm looking for? Just sort of the image that you're projecting of taking it seriously, even if
The optics.
Optics. That's the word. I think the NFL will have a closer. I don't want to say control on it, but I bet if the NFL had their decisions, like this wouldn't even be a discussion this week that he could play.
Yeah, and I think that the messaging from Gerard Mayo since the concussion has been interesting because Gerard Mayo keeps saying that Drake Maye threw a couple of dimes even after he took the hit to the head, which isn't
true?
actually true. He only
No.
threw the ball one time after he got hit in the head. But still, like Gerard Mayo, I think is in his belief that like Drake Maye still looked as a football player as if he could keep playing. And on Monday, Gerard Mayo, I pulled up the wrong link. This is gonna take a while, but I certainly don't want to act like the Patriots are downplaying this. But I'll just read the quote from Gerard Mayo. It was on the radio. He said it was called down from the league. They wanted to do further evaluation. When I went in there at halftime, he wanted to go back out there, but obviously he didn't pass the test. And not going to get too far into that, but at the same time, he went out there and threw a couple of good balls after, I guess, supposedly put him in the protocol. So that word supposedly, I think, is doing a lot of work, but he keeps kind of reiterating that Drake felt good at halftime, that he wanted to keep going in, and that he threw to him a couple of good balls, but in reality, one good ball after he suffered the concussion. So
And which ball was that? Because he got
that
sacked.
was a dropped pass by Kayshon Boutte.
3rd and 9 in cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Drake got up slow. I don't think the NFL made a poor decision on pulling him out of the game.
Well, they were very late to do it.
They were. Yeah.
They missed it. It took until the next quarter for them to realize it. So, yeah, I guess the question, it has to be like if you have a concussion, you shouldn't play football the next week. That's really like, and the question this week locally is going to be like, well, it's the Titans, so you don't need to. And it's like, are there games where you would find it appropriate to suffer like further brain damage if you could avoid it? Probably not.
Certainly not in this season for the Patriots.
Yeah, but like let's say they were playing a different team.
No, I know. Yeah.
It wouldn't really matter. But I guess we can look at it through like I'm assuming he's not playing. Despite all the positive signs, which I think are good, I would feel that just 7 days is almost 0 days when it comes to concussion recovery.
I guess it depends on if he really believes he suffered a concussion. Like, I think, he's in concussion protocol, so I think that that's the way they should handle it, and, yeah, I mean, I certainly tend to agree that, but at the same time, I think the Patriots are probably just gonna follow the protocol. Like, if he is in phase 4 tomorrow and then phase 5 on Friday, and he's got the opportunity to play, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, it really isn't about like, "Oh, can the Patriots win without him in this game?" Like, all wins and losses don't matter this season. So, it should be about protecting, your rookie quarterback and your future NFL franchise, and it would be really bad, obviously, if there was another head injury this week.
It is also well, yeah, with again, with Tua, like, that would be awful, and again, there's the independent evaluation that comes at the end of said protocol, so I feel
Right.
like it's not entirely in the Patriots' hands anyways, but,
No.
um, yeah, let's say he can't play, and then Jacoby Brissett, who was bad, but now because Doug Kyed was like, "This guy's not good, probably time to bench him," um, he's inspired by that, and he is good now. So, do you think he can light up the Titans? Do you wanna say anything about Jacoby and how good or bad he is now to maybe send him down a path?
I'm not gonna, motivate Jacoby Brissett even more. It does seem like he is using perhaps some of the media criticism as motivation, which if it works for him, like hell yeah to Jacoby Brissett. He I stated I think on Sunday's podcast that his performance against the Jets was probably his best one of the season. And obviously still went 15 for 24 with 132 yards. So it's not like he was ultra productive in that game. But I mean, I also believe that he can certainly beat the Titans.
Just saying, he ranks 30th in passing yards, he's tied for 37th in passing touchdowns, and y'all said he was bad. Do the
Joke's
math.
on us.
Do the math.
Um,
I do think just the Titans, woof. First of all, the Titans are favored, which is insane.
that
Like
is crazy.
if the Patriots needed any like a kick in the ass in the locker room this week after winning finally after so long, that should be enough. I know they probably don't spend too much time on the betting lines, but you are underdogs to a team that's like far and away worse than you. That's the fact that it's 3.5. Like it's a little more than just your standard home team sort
Yeah.
of wash. Like it's like, oh, the Titans are a little bit better. And it's like, man, that's wild. They've been favored twice this year and they lost both games. So this is a bit. I'm surprised, honestly. And here on Pat's chat, we don't think the Patriots are going to win 10 games anymore. But that is the fact that it's not just a pick 'em, but that Vegas is like, yeah, Titans are notably better. That should resonate somewhat in the locker room in New England.
The Patriots aren't going to be favored in a single game this season, are they?
Oh no. If I mean like
It's
Jacksonville, it
kind
was
of
like,
wild.
okay. Jacksonville was like 6.5, and that was surprising. And Jacksonville ended up covering. So
Right.
um
Yeah. I mean, this being 3.5. Yeah. What is it? Is it still like a 3-point bump for being at home?
mm, yeah. Like
So,
if it's two even teams, the home team's a 3-point favorite. But
so essentially, they're saying that on a neutral field, the Titans would still be favored by half point, which is
correct.
pretty crazy. I wonder how different that would be if Drake Maye was like 100% playing. I don't know if it would be that much different since he's still a rookie quarterback. It is
I'd
kind
like
of
to think
funny
it would
that Drake
matter.
Maye won his first start finally, or not finally, but won his first start and he played a quarter of it.
This is a heck of a quarter though.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to beat this team. I don't know how much Titans talk we want to do, but
Not a lot.
they are bad. I don't know. Uh, I want to get a list of the quarterbacks they've lost to because it's. I mean, just off the top of my head, did they lose to Malik Monk?
Malik Monk. Malik Monk is not a person.
Oh, Malik Willis. Malik Monk's a basketball player. Did they lose to Malik Willis? Yes, they did.
Yes, they did
Uh,
lose to Malik
they
Willis,
lost to
who
Caleb
went
Williams.
13 of 19 for 202 yards and a touchdown, with and 6 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown.
Jacoby
Epic
could
performance
do.
from Malik Monk Willis.
Look, Malik Monk might win 6 man of the year. Malik Willis, like that output, Jacoby Brissett could probably match. You don't have the benefit of Will Levis just automatically giving you footballs all the time. They lost to Anthony Richardson. They gave up 52 points last week. So like this is a game, like this is probably the last time we'll say it this year. The Patriots should win.
Yeah. Yeah, the Patriots should win. And that was like, yeah, that was a Lions team. I know that this is just gonna be the Lions team moving forward, but like obviously without Aiden Hutchinson, they're possibly their best player overall. And they were still able to put up 52 points and limit the Titans to
And
14 points.
the Titans' only win was that Monday nighter against the Dolphins when the Dolphins had signed Tyler Huntley like Thursday. So
Yeah,
that's the only win they have. So like again, if the Patriots lose, I won't be shocked by any means.
no,
But this is the last game of the year where will be an underperformance, I think, if they lose, which is crazy to say. But
yeah, and I'm still not ready to say like 100% the Patriots are going to win this game. Like I'm not at that point yet.
no,
They lost that privilege or they lost that right by losing like 2 or 3 games where it was like, oh, I think they're going to win this one, and then they lost, and then obviously they won one they didn't predict. But like, yeah, I mean, I thought they could have had a chance in week 3 against the Jets, certainly week 5 against the Dolphins, week 7 against the Jaguars, and they lost all those. So I don't think that there's a gimme left on the schedule. Obviously, if this one's not, I will be in Nashville for this game. Very curious to see exactly how ugly this does look, but I don't know. I mean, it, is there a logic to a quarterback looking better coming in midway through a game versus starting it? I guess the logic is that the defense hasn't prepared for him, right?
right. And it's a different look. It's a different offense. I mean, what's more important than quarterback, you know? So I
Yeah.
do think that is sort of an advantage if you're coming in and they're not prepared for you. I don't think this concussion protocol thing is like a redirect of attention so that they prepare for Drake and then they get
No.
Jacoby. But I believe they'll be prepared. It's I don't want to be disrespectful to Jacoby Brissett, so let me find my words. In terms of preparing to face Jacoby Brissett, it's not that intricate.
It's fair. It's fair.
And like if
Uh,
you blitz him as a safety, you should actually make contact with him when you get in the backfield instead of just run right past him.
it is kind of, I don't know if ironic's the right word, just funny that the throw that my cat is in the room right now sneezing.
Nice.
So if you're hearing sneezing, I didn't know he was in here. He's sneezing a lot.
It sounds like when you drag trash on apples or Macs. It's the exact same sound as just putting something in the trash.
He's like snuck out of the closet in my office. Didn't know he was here. And I was just chilling and sneezing. And I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about Jacoby Brissett.
But I think it's ironic or funny or something that the throw that a lot of people have praised from Jacoby Brissett was that one to Kayshon Boutte at the end of the game that put them in the red zone. And he's been like, "Oh no, that throw was terrible." Like that was all Kayshon Boutte. So the throw that a lot of people have been praising Jacoby Brissett for, he can't even praise himself for. He thought that was underthrown.
Huh.
I watched that play like 10 times because the free safety was a free rusher blitzing on the play. And if he had just hit Jacoby Brissett with his shoulder, like squarely on
Yeah.
his chest or waist or
Hip.
anywhere, that play wasn't happening.
Yeah, he
But he
missed it.
like kind of like hit him with his bicep and like kind of fell to the side and just hit him pretty weakly,
It was really
if
bad.
I have to say. And
I
that
think he
allowed
was
Jacoby Brissett to actually get the throw off. And to Kayshon Boutte, there's no way he makes that throw if someone hits him squarely.
I think he was a practice squad safety, so that might explain why that was. But I'm surprised he said that was underthrown because we talked about it after the game, and I was like, it looked
Right.
underthrown to me. But if he led the receiver, it would have invited Sauce Gardner back into the play because
Right.
he was basically behind him. He was basically 5 yards deeper than Booty. So if that ball was thrown like to the post,
Yeah.
Gardner could have come over the top and broken it up. So
Yeah. There was like 3 because TC McCartney broke it down today or whenever it was on Patriots.com with Zolak, I think. And he said that like Brissett reacted to the play as if it was as if it was like a zero blitz, but then the
It
Jets
wasn't.
dropped three um, back in coverage. So I don't want to say they were lucky, but like they were kind of lucky maybe that it was underthrown and that Booty had to kind of come back for it and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. I gave Jacoby Brissett credit after the game for making it a nice underthrow on purpose, but I retract it. So
Mike Reese asked him if it was one of the best throws of his career. He was like, "Oh, definitely not. No, absolutely not. That was a bad throw."
I mean, the
All
one
right,
to Hunter Henry that didn't count was better, but
that's true. My cat's now trying to climb on me. This
nice.
is
Cat chat.
cat chat. Pat's cat.
Yeah.
Um, but we should talk about the trade deadline. I don't know if Rambe has anything to say about it, but here he is.
Not
He's
amused.
a sneezy guy. He's digging his claws at me now. Patriots traded Joshua Uche for a 2026 sixth round pick. Seen a lot of people be like, is that all they could get for him? Like, obviously, if that's all they got, then that's all they could get for them. I don't think they were just saying, like, here, Chiefs, have Joshua Uche for free.
Hmm.
But it's also like when you're talking about a 2026 sixth round pick, and the argument is like, couldn't they have got a 2025 sixth round pick? It's like, I don't know. At that point, it's you're trading a player for a low round pick. And I can understand in theory being like Joshua Uche had what 11 and a half sacks 2 years ago. You couldn't get more for him. He's been on the trade market now for 2 straight years. The most he's had 3 sacks or fewer in 4 of his 5 seasons now. I don't know. I can't get that fired up about what they got for him.
I mean, I think the only counter argument, and I go in and out of lightness and darkness here. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're very dark right now.
It's just sort of like, what's the point? Because like you could look through like I'm just scrolling through picks just to sort of peruse, and you get your random Mike and Wenyus, who's like
Right.
their best 6th round pick in a
Yeah,
million.
no, the Patriots have never drafted a good player in the 6th round. You're right.
It's never happened, like at 199. But I mean, most I don't know what the hit rate is. Ted Karras was a 6th round pick, but
Yeah.
generally speaking, you're not going to build your team off 6th round picks. So,
Right.
I get the sense. I understand when people are like, "Well, why not just keep them?"
Yeah, I
And
mean, I
so,
think you're going to lose him anyway in the offseason, and you're not going to get a comp pick for him because you have to
yeah,
spend money over the next 2 off seasons. So it's
yeah,
basically just like, all right, if we don't think we need him right now, which I don't think the Patriots need him right now, you just trade him and get something for him rather than letting him leave for nothing.
yeah. But I could see the case being made like you might as well keep him and have him play on the football team because you don't have how many good. He didn't even make our list of good players, did he?
I don't think so. Well, and he
So
hasn't been very good for the last 2 seasons.
yeah, I mean, I personally like these are those are moves that the Patriots used to make, and that guy would join their team and like
Right.
win a Super Bowl, and now they're
Which
just
might
giving,
happen with the Chiefs now.
yeah, it's like you're just giving them the Chiefs, man. They're about to like dent your dynasty. Not that that can be their concern in the front office,
Right.
but I don't know. You always hear like, oh, they'll never trade so and so within a division, like around the league, like
Yeah.
no matter what. That's just sort of the way people think. But I guess if you can help the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, why not? If you get a 6th round pick 2 years later, how could you resist?
The Patriots filled that spot by signing O'Shawn Mathis off their practice squad. Not expecting people to get too excited about O'Shawn Mathis, but I think it's possible that like he is a better fit for the defensive scheme just because I think they could probably use him a little bit more on early downs. He's got great length, 35 and a quarter inch arms. It's pretty elite. Six
That's
round pick for the
cool.
Rams last year. So
That's cool.
O'Shawn Mathis.
Yeah. I did mean to mention like Pop Douglas was a 6th round pick just last year. So
Keyshawn Booty.
you can find a guy.
Yeah,
Booty was a 6th round pick?
he was. They both were.
Well, they had four. They had 4 6th round picks last year. Bryce Barringer,
Bryce Baringer,
in a mere
Baringer.
speed.
Mere
Yeah.
speed didn't work out. But the other
Right.
3 are 2 of them are starters. One of them is a punter. You can do pretty well in the 6th round.
Yeah. All right.
So
Fair enough.
maybe it's probably gonna be a late 6th round pick
Yeah,
since the
probably.
Chiefs are probably gonna be a wagon for a few more years now. But yeah. Um would you trade anyone else on this team. The names that are being thrown out there, can't imagine a big return for them. Like KJ Osborne, Tyquan Thornton. It sounds like, I don't know, Kendrick Bourne, they probably would want too much for. I still don't understand the Devon Godshaw one. Simply because like you need him this year to stop the run. And he's a player
Yeah,
that you just signed to a 2-year extension. And if you trade him, then you would just need to sign another nose tackle this offseason. So it's like, why
yeah,
not just keep the one that you have? That's
right.
my theory on it, at least.
I'm with you. I'm just going through high snap counts because you have to actually play. Like Bourne to me, I would, but I don't think he's played well enough to generate any trade interest.
Right. Like for what they would want for him. Yeah, I could certainly, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, there's not a lot of value up and down. Like
I
Antonio
think
Gibson.
ultimately, like they have 7 wide receivers on the roster right now. And this isn't coming from any like inside scoop or anything. I haven't talked to anyone about this, but like when the names being thrown out there are KJ Osborne, Tyquan Thornton, like they're probably just going to need to cut one of those guys, right? Like if they
Yeah,
don't want 7 wide receivers, I don't know what they would possibly get for KJ Osborne at this point. He's not playing. He's a veteran. I don't know.
maybe like a 2027 seventh if
Yeah.
we use the Uche scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't. They're not. They don't have enough talent to get any return for anything. So I would imagine they'd be quiet. Though I did see Josina Anderson said they're going to look to be adding, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, if she's right, she's right. That was one of those tweets where I'm like, so now Patriots fans just think that they're going to be trading for players.
I would. I mean, let's entertain it for a moment. If they were going to add, presumably, good word. Presumably, it would
Presumably.
be someone who's signed, beyond this year.
Right.
But
Like I did a
but
mailbag recently.
who's that player? Who's that player that a team's looking to get rid of?
Right.
Maybe like like a problem in the locker room. It's like that's not what you need to bring in to this 2-6 team.
Yeah. Like I thought it was interesting. And like I don't think this player will become available. It wouldn't make sense for this player to become available. But a week or two ago, Adam Schefter wrote on ESPN that teams had been calling the Jets about Garrett Wilson. And I
Yeah.
was like, huh, that's kind of interesting that he would write that if the expectation is that Garrett Wilson isn't going to be. Where the hell is my cat?
Hmm.
Making weird noises. If the expectation is like for him to not be traded, then why write that? But like that's a player that if for some reason the Jets decided to trade would be a player that would make a lot of sense for them to trade. And I have no idea if the Jets would want to trade within division. I don't know why they would want to get rid of Garrett Wilson, but like that's the type of player the Patriots need. That would be someone that you would be like, yeah, maybe give up a future first round pick for or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's difficult to see that coming to fruition in any
right.
sort of way. So, stay tuned. I guess there's nothing else going on Tuesday. So stay locked into the NFL trade deadline for Patriots acquisitions.
Yeah, and I would say that like the expectation within the team is that the Patriots aren't exactly overflowing with valuable trade chips. So I think that they know full well that it's going to be tough for them to find players on their roster that other teams would want.
Yeah.
Unless it's, like I don't know who like the players on the roster that teams would actually want obviously are players that they wouldn't want to trade, but like it would be like Drake Maye, Christian Gonzalez.
No, I mean, like you're not going to trade anyone on their rookie contract.
Right. It doesn't make sense for them to do that. Like, yeah, obviously teams might be interested in like Keon White or something, but that's a player that you want to keep around.
Right. You have a player on a rookie contract. Like
Yeah.
that's at best case you could use your pick years down the line to get a player on a rookie contract. So
Yeah. And ultimately, yeah, my point was basically just like those are really the only players other teams would even want to trade for, and they're players that the Patriots wouldn't
yeah,
even think about trading.
we have really hyped up the deadline. It is an oversell on our part. Like they got no one to get
Well,
rid of, and they're not going to add anyone. Stay
it's
tuned.
well, Albert Breer brought up something. I think it was yesterday on NBC Sports Boston, saying like, well, if the Patriots trade like Tyquan Thornton and a pick for Adam Thielen, just to get some like veteran leadership, get a dependable or like a more dependable wide receiver in there. Like if
My
they want to
God.
do that, it's fine, but like that even doesn't really move the needle for me.
I think that would be mean to Adam Thielen because, like, that dude was part of a dynamic offense in Minnesota for so long and then went to Carolina last year and was like, "What the," and he was, like, really good last year. He was as
Yeah.
good as you can be on a team with that much of a disaster. Uh, that would be really rude and inconsiderate to Adam Thielen. Didn't he pull his hammy this year? Wasn't he hurt?
Yeah, something
I
like
just
that.
remember feeling like, okay, I feel better for him now that he can not play for the Panthers for a little bit.
Yeah, I like being traded from the worst team in the league to like the second or third worst team in the league. It would be pretty rude.
Yeah,
Started he's played 3 games, started 3 games, 8 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. So
he would
like
fit in. He would fit right in.
he would. He's 34 years old. He had a 1,000-yard season last year. Before that, his last 1,000-yard season was in 2018.
That's
So I don't
crazy.
know.
That's crazy. He had 1,000 yards last year.
It is.
His quarterbacks were Bryce Young, Andy Dalton. Incredible. They had 13 touchdowns total passes. Total 13 touchdown passes last year.
Yeah. Pretty good from Adam Thielen. He had 4 of those.
Yeah,
DJ Chark had 5.
nice. I don't think they'll be getting Adam Thielen, but
My colleague Andrew Callahan has brought up the idea of them trading for Darius Slayton too, and I'm just like, I don't really want to play Darius Slayton over any of the young guys on the team, personally.
yeah,
Bill
yeah,
Belichick, oddly enough, was really hyping up Darius Slayton on Monday Night Football. He was like, he's as much of a downfield threat as Malik Neighbors. And I'm like, Bill, you could have had Darius Slayton for like the last 2 or 3 off seasons. Like he's just perpetually been on the trade block.
yeah.
But guess he likes
Malik
him.
Malik Neighbors or Malik Monk?
Malik Neighbors.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. This is not Pat's chat. This is baseball chat. We'll get more into Pat's chat in a second. But the Yankees fans last night, that was like the wildest thing a fan's
Yeah,
almost ever done in a sporting event, right?
it was insane, and it's like it got proper attention, but it
Yeah.
also was totally blown off by too many people
Yeah.
because you had the one
Including
guy,
possibly Major League Baseball, since they're like, you can't come to game 5. It's like, what about any baseball game ever?
right? Um, it was just like moronic idiocy compounded by it could have been so bad. Like
Right.
I was saying it this morning. Imagine you're standing there. Is there any more vulnerable position than standing there with your arms way over your head and 2 grown men pulling them and grabbing them? You have no leverage.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. And I don't know if you know, there's a lot of bones in the wrists
Oh
and the
yeah.
hands. So
Being like bent over a fence. Like I know there's padding on the fence, but still like that's like a hard surface that your wrist is being bent over.
yeah, it's crazy because I mean, you mentioned. I mean, this is Pat. This is Pat's chat. Remember, Tyreek Hill scored and had beer spilled on him, and
Right.
people acted like the
Yeah.
world had ended.
Yeah.
People were apoplectic. People were like, "Classless Patriots fans," blah blah blah. It's like, listen, I don't condone beer spilling on players, but if a player were to have beer spilled on him, Tyreek Hill would probably fit the bill. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But
And Mookie
that was
Betts does not deserve to have his wrists.
no one deserves that. And the one guy opening the glove is one thing. It's not harmless, but it's not that. I don't know. It is kind of dangerous.
It's
The other,
crazy.
but when he reaches with his right hand to stop it from happening, and the other guy's like, "No, no, pal, this is happening," and he grabs his wrist as if to say, "You're not allowed to stop this. Just shh." That was crazy. It's just
Well, I
the
mean, also
MLB
like
has to be more serious than you can't go to game 5 because if the precedent is like, you can't go you can't go to the next game, that's not good.
it like even his quotes afterwards being like, we protect that wall and we're trying to play defense against it. It's like even like that in itself is legitimately insane. You're a
Yeah.
fan. Like, and he's already caught the ball.
Yeah, it didn't help the
Pulling the
team.
ball out of his glove at that point does nothing.
They called it an
He's
out.
caught the ball.
Yeah. They got
And I know that the slow motion maybe didn't help because then it
no.
just makes it look like he's, like, got the ball for a long time. It is more like bang, bang when you watch the actual replay. But, like, bro, he's caught the ball. You pulling it out at this point does absolutely nothing. You're not playing defense. You're just being a complete and utter fool.
Right. You're
And
allowed to, like, get in his way to try to catch it if he's reaching into your area.
right.
That is what you are allowed to do. You're not allowed to touch him. You're not allowed to
No.
grab his wrists and say, "No, no, sir. We're messing with you." Shush. Uh, it was nuts, and
Yeah.
I think credit to Mookie Betts for just downplaying it
Yeah.
because remember do you remember 2005
Probably
Red
not.
Sox Yankees early in the season? Ball goes it was Gary Sheffield goes to get the ball by the foul pole,
Yeah.
and someone kinda swiped him.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
someone reached over the wall and, like, gently grazed his face, and he got up and shoved a row of women, and they spilled beer everywhere. Tanyan Sturts ran over from the dugout, like, all roided up, all and had to be held back from attacking he didn't even see what happened, he was in the dugout.
Right.
So, Mookie Betts being like, initially,
Yeah.
"What the hell?" and then just backing away, and then after the game, completely downplaying it. Credit to him, because a
Yeah.
lot of baseball players I don't know if you know this about baseball players, total jackasses, a lot of them. Mookie Betts is not one, so that worked out that it was him and not 90% of big leaguers, because that would have been even it w
Could
like,
have gotten bad. Yeah.
it's like the whole reason Steve Bartman became a thing is
Right.
because Moises Alou was over there freaking out,
Yeah.
stomping his feet and doing this. Like, dude, you didn't catch it. I don't know what to tell you. Move on with your life. And it became, it ruined that guy's life for 13 years. So,
It perhaps is beneficial that there's less, rage in baseball right now, chemically induced rage.
yeah,
And yeah, no, but Mookie Betts really downplayed it. And like, honestly, hopefully him downplaying it doesn't lessen the
yeah,
punishment that the MLB levies against these fans. But I a lot of people afterwards originally were like, Yankee fans are the worst. And then of course there was like the bounce back of people being like, well, all fans are the worst. I actually think that Yankees fans like believe that they're part of the game more than most teams fans.
Well, I said it was literally I don't know if you ever saw Celtic Pride, a classic piece of
Yeah.
American cinema, where they're like, "You know what? The team needs us. We're gonna kidnap the star player of the
Yeah.
Utah Jazz." It's kinda like that. It really is. And
Did
and people
yeah.
there was a quote in the Athletic story, the first one this morning that found the guy, a fan that saw him walk off and was like, "Ah, I just patted him on the back. He's my hero. This is the championship game." And I'm like, "Lady, the championship game? Do you follow the sport?" I don't know. They definitely are holding them up high, and that's pathetic.
It is. And did you see that Rob Gronkowski knows this guy?
Yeah,
That was kind of wild.
they went to Arizona together.
Yeah.
This guy played hockey. I was doing some digging this morning for, my professional background. He's from Connecticut, which was a
Yeah.
shocker. My money was on Staten Island, but it was Connecticut,
I
which
did,
makes sense.
I did look him up on Twitter last night. Did look him up on I tried to find him on other social
It's on
media. Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, I saw found him on Facebook.
He's got a
Doesn't update
hockey
it very
card.
much.
He had a hockey card on eBay. It was $3. I bet it's way more now.
Wow.
I'm gonna look it
Get
up.
that signed.
I bet it's
Um,
way more valuable.
all right. Back to the Patriots.
What?
I don't think there's a lot this week. It seems like we're not going to get the same drama that we did last week. Obviously, Drod Mayo didn't have to come out and call his team soft. We're not seeing anything cryptic so far from wide receivers. I spoke to KJ Osborne today. He was saying all the right things, didn't like stopped himself from saying a lot, which I would have loved to know the hidden thoughts that he wanted to express, but knew in the moment that he couldn't. I think we're going to see Jalen Polk back. We'll see how he performs in his bounce back performance. Don't know if he's earned the right to start because Patriots do have Keyshawn Booty, Demario Douglas, and Kendrick Bourne, but I don't know, just a lot less drama around the team. And I'll give Drod Mayo credit. He said that like winning solves everything. I don't think it solved everything, but it solved some of their problems this week.
Yeah, I'm currently looking up, which broadcast team they're gonna get for this game
Oh man,
because I don't know if they do that on Wednesdays or Thursdays. What's today? The week 8, right?
is I mean,
It's oh, that's no, it's week 9.
would you
Goodness.
be shocked? Would you be shocked if It's on CBS, I'm assuming,
Oh my
right?
god, you should see
If
the map.
if CBS said like, you know what, we're gonna experiment with AI and just have like AI broadcasters do this one, would that shock you?
It's actually on Fox.
Oh,
It's only in New England, a little bit of upstate New York, and the greater Nashville area. I won't even say all of Tennessee because Dallas and Atlanta is
Memphis doesn't
playing.
get this one.
Memphis gets Dallas, Atlanta. Memphis does not get the Titans. If you're in
Wait,
Memphis,
who
you
does
need
Knoxville get?
Knoxville does get this game, unfortunately for them. But there are large chunks of Tennessee that will not be getting the Titans game, and they probably don't mind. So the broadcast crew is Jason Benetti and Mark Schlereth.
Wow, I didn't know that Mark Schlereth did this.
Nor did I. So that's what you're going to get. It's going to be, there's going to be like 2 cameras. There's going to be no replay. There's going to be,
That is the worst part about the lower broadcasts. You
yeah,
just don't get to see any replays.
no. And we learned that, remember the Pat's chat, Patriots Raiders, the Jacoby Myers game, who was it, Keelan Cole with the foot out of bounds?
Right. Yeah.
And it was just, they're like, oh, we don't have the angles. It's like, it's the NFL. You're in a $1 billion stadium, like a
Yeah.
$1.5 billion stadium. So it's going to be sunny. It's going to be like, there will be times, I think, and it won't be a novel thought, but there will be times where we will all think, this is not a good use of a nice day.
Well, I'll be in Nashville. It is kind of interesting that they're the Tennessee Titans, but not even all of Tennessee gets to watch this game. And I guess the same could be said for New England. Like they're the
No,
New England Patriots, but a lot of the time I feel like Western Massachusetts sometimes doesn't get these games, like the far end of Western
the
Massachusetts.
very, very western edge of this state of Massachusetts gets Washington at Giants. So
Yeah, I think they're more Giants fans. And I'm assuming all of Connecticut doesn't get this game either.
it all but the southwestern corner, which is pretty crazy. Like Hartford gets the Patriots,
Wow.
not the Giants. Tough life for a Giants fan in central Connecticut, I guess. But the point is, that's a tough one. Here's a question. Here's a question for you. The Vegas Cincinnati game is on in the Vegas area and in the Cincinnati sort of Midwest, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, but also somewhere between LA and San Francisco is getting Vegas
Oh,
Cincinnati. Who is the reason for that?
I mean, Raiders fans must still exist in that region
But
because
it's not in LA.
is it in
It's like
like
west of,
Oakland?
no, it's west of Bakersfield. It's sort of in
They
that
must just know that those are still Raiders. That's still Raiders Nation.
there's got to be a player. Sometimes if someone went to college, but
I think just their ties to California. They're like, I don't know.
this is good stuff. We're gonna solve this.
I mean, I
This is
don't
what I do with my life, Doug. It's
I
in
don't
let's see.
it's not Joe Burrow.
It's not Joe Burrow and it's not Aiden O'Connell, I don't
It's not
think.
Aiden O'Connell. I think it's just California based. Most
Santa
of California
Barbara?
is probably still Raiders fans, right?
Dude, I
Like
don't
they're
know.
probably still like not I mean, obviously it's probably mostly San Francisco 49ers fans, but
So it's Santa Barbara. I don't know if any
interesting.
Raiders or Bengals check that box. Either way, that is our analysis of the 506 NFL maps this week. Come back next week.
It's very, very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
Robert Kraft, one of 9 contributor finalists for the Hall of Fame. Is that
I
pushing the
just
needle for
think
you?
for one, remember the whole thing here, and everyone's like, oh, he's campaigning to get in and made it a big deal. It's like, I don't know. Most people would want to be in the Hall of Fame, so I didn't really think that was that big of a deal. The fact that the Patriots and Stacey James like were made to deny that they were doing it was weird too,
Yeah.
because like you work for the Patriots.
I mean,
It
if
was
owners are going to be in the Hall of Fame, obviously Robert Kraft deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
if Jerry Jones is in the Hall of Fame, he
Right.
deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It's just they only put one of those contributors in per year, so it's like it could happen. It probably it should happen, but
Yep.
it also might not happen for 30 years. So it's kind of they could use it to tweak that system. But to me, if you want to argue they shouldn't be in there, blah blah blah. Jerry Jones is in there.
Right.
Robert Kraft should be in there.
Yeah.
Let's
Once
go.
you've opened the floodgate of owners being in there, then the guy with 6 Super Bowl wins to his team's name should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on the Hall of Fame in general. The senior Hall of Fame thing always drives me crazy because I got an email about that earlier this month, and like some of the candidates are like Ken Anderson and like Sterling Sharp and Jim Plunkett and Roger Craig. It's like, yeah, these are all good players, but
Doug,
like if that's who you have to consider for the Hall of Fame, like maybe this whole senior thing isn't worth doing. I don't know, you
they
know?
put a referee in the Hall of Fame last year. So to me, I'm out on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Get all the referees out.
Yeah.
They can
I
have their
was
own
yeah.
they can have their own little Hall of Fame in like a banquet hall in Indiana.
This is one of my biggest pet peeves in life, is that Harold Baines is in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
And I talk about it too much, but like that was my tipping point for the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's like, well, it doesn't matter anymore. If Harold Baines is in the Baseball Hall of Fame, then the Hall of Fame doesn't matter anymore.
Did Joe Mauer go in this year as first ballot?
Possibly.
Yeah, sounds
Um,
right.
I just my definition of a Hall of Famer is that you have to be excited to get their baseball card or their football card. And unless you were living in Baltimore at the time, I don't think anyone was ever excited about getting a Harold Baines baseball card.
Yeah,
I could imagine getting excited about a Joe Mauer baseball card.
I guess. It's more like, do you ever look away from the TV when they're on?
That's fair. Yeah, that's another good
And I
definition.
would look away from a Harold Baines at bat, see what else is on. See what's on USA. Maybe, what's that rollerblading? Pacific Blue? Was that the show?
Mm,
The
yeah.
rollerblading cops? That was sick.
Are we
We should go. We should stop.
are we all about Pat's chatted out here, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been clear there's not a lot to say about the Patriots Titans preview.
No, but I want to talk about the Uche trade as much as
Let's
possible.
hope though, Drake May is okay, first and
Yes,
foremost. Let's hope
100%.
next week, we'll do the Patriots, we'll do the recap Monday, but let's hope next week when we're talking about the upcoming game, it's Drake May versus Caleb Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be fun.
That will be much more exciting. There's just something about this Titans game that like they should win it. I think they probably should lose to the Bears, though their coach is a bozo. You want to talk about him for a minute. The big Hail Mary play, how everyone's clowning on
Oh my
the
god.
cornerback. Did you
Yeah.
watch the play before it? Caleb Williams, who just entered the league 5 minutes ago, was on the sideline walking up and pointing and yelling to tell his head coach to get off the field because Caleb Williams knew they were going to run an out to get into Hail Mary range. And Eberflus was like floating around, yelling, pointing, and literally the rookie quarterback had to be like, head coach, get off the field. He barely did. They give up the free 20 yards so they can get and it's just like, you know what, clown on the cornerback because he was making fun all he wants, but like, that head coach is a bozo. So maybe that isn't a loss. I don't know.
Yeah, it might not be. I can see that. That was another thing though, like the Tyreek Stevenson, like I've never seen that before in my
That
life.
was incredible.
Taunting the fans like multiple seconds into the
4
play.
seconds. 4 seconds.
And then he's the one who touches the ball. I mean, the
It's like,
lack of awareness there is just it's absolutely insane. I know that he was a relatively high pick recently, but like if someone does that, you almost like I feel like Belichick might just be like, you got to go.
well, he didn't cut Jacoby Myers after that lateral, so maybe not, which was
At least that was like
good intentioned,
a brief moment of
not knowing the
good
score.
intentioned poor thinking.
Yeah.
Like Tyreek Stevenson, like there was no like he wasn't trying to benefit his team by doing that.
Yeah, it's an overused expression, but it really felt like the final scene of a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Like it just really seemed like, I don't know, Larry counseled someone to be more confident.
Yeah.
Like he counseled this young football player to be more brash and confident and believe in himself. And like he's out there like, yeah, and then he does that and then gets cut and never plays again. So I don't know. That'll be fun next week. This week, admittedly a tough one to get overly excited for. But again, the last time you and I will sit here and say the Patriots absolutely should win their football game this weekend.
They should. I'm not gonna oh, you have a score prediction?
Ooh, well, the over under is like 36 and a half, maybe 38. I don't know, somewhere in that range. So I want to kind of stick to that, thinking that these people know what they're talking about usually.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be like a 17-15 final score. I don't know how they're going to get to 15. Don't ask me. Who's going to be? I'll pick the Patriots. I'll go 17-15 Patriots.
I'm gonna protect myself here and say, like, if Drake May plays,
Well,
they
my pick was that he wasn't.
they
So,
win 2017. If he doesn't play, I don't wanna get fooled by the Patriots. I've seen this too many times already this season. If he doesn't play, then I would say 17-14 Titans.
all right. It's in the records now.
It has been spoken into
Etched in
existence.
stone.
But yeah, I'll be in Nashville for it. We'll figure out when we're gonna record, but I think it's been fun. Thanks for
I've
listening, everyone.
I've been in Nashville. Little tip: if you want to, there's nothing better than just pedaling in a pedal bar around the city, listening to Bon Jovi and singing loudly. So enjoy.
That's
It's
the
just
tip.
fun. It's just fun.
There's a lot of live music in Nashville, which I guess it's fun when you're in Nashville. Typically, I'm a watching live music of a band I like type of guy,
Yeah,
and not a just randomly watching live music being performed type of guy.
yeah.
I know that might make me a bit of a fuddy duddy, but like
Well, it's
it's
just
fun-ish
really
in
great.
Nashville.
It's pretty much everyone playing music on a stage there is incredible,
Yeah,
to various degrees, where you're just like, "Damn." So, I am with you, but it's usually because 'cause I'm thinking to my 20s when I'm at, like, the Burn at 1 a.m. in a crappy cover bands playing Jesse's Girl.
yeah. Or
I'm
you're at a
past that.
restaurant, some jerks playing like
Acoustic. No Diggity. They love playing No Diggity on their acoustic guitars, and it's like,
yeah.
"Please stop playing No Diggity." It's much better there, so you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
No, it is. It is much better there. I've been in Nashville a few times. So, all right. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, rate, review, do all those fun things. Goodbye.